Hey everybody, Duranasaur here with another TBC Heroic Dungeon speedrunning commentary and analysis video. This one is going to cover slave pins, and it's the third one that has been pulled from our Dungeon Cleave Cup 1, where we hosted a competition and teams competed and ran all three of the Coilfang Heroics. So if you want to see the Underbog run and the Steambolts run, I have those videos posted on my channel. You can go check them out there. We had two teams going sort of head-to-head in each of these videos, and we're continuing that trend today. So these are the two fastest teams from our competition that ran slave pins. And spoiler alert, it's the same two teams that were the fastest in Steambolts and Underbog as well. So if you want to see more of these guys, I'll try to have information about them in the channel description below. But this all came from the Dungeon Cleave Cup. DungeonCleave.com is our website. Come and join us. I'll get these runs started and get my ugly mug off the screen. So again, we are covering slave pins today. So I'll get both of these runs up and running here. So as part of the rules for this competition, both groups had to actually pull and kill the first pack in the dungeon. So this first pack of lobsters. So a lot of the dungeon speedruns that you see, especially slave pins on Warcraft logs, they don't include the initial trash packs, especially in slave pins though. Most groups, even groups that come in here and do not intend to run them as a speedrun, they'll skip this initial pack. But for the sake of timing and for the competition, we had every single team pull and kill this pack just so that everyone sort of started at an equal playing field at the beginning of the dungeon. That's part of the way that we've done this, but that also sort of plays into where these guys ranked worldwide according to Warcraft logs. So like I said, most of the runs on Warcraft logs don't actually start until a ways into the dungeon. And so when you look at how these teams did versus Warcraft logs, you actually, if you line them up with the trash pack that the Warcraft logs teams typically start at and where these guys start, these guys actually have some very competitive runs. So just wanted to get that part out of the way. As we go through here, we have Madspeed, which is this more conventional group on the bottom, the Feral Tank, the Warlock, the Mage, the Priest, and the Hunter. They actually were trying to do a trash pack here to skip that double pack running through here of the Coilfang champions. The Minesuit actually got resisted, so they had to fight those. At the same time, you'll see that Stealth Crew just a little bit behind, able to sap and stealth right by those same two mobs. Madspeed now opting to use their invisibility pots right here at the start of the dungeon to skip left coming into this room and to run over here to this this two-pack of Naga here, the Coilfang Defenders. So this is the trash pack that most Warcraft logs runs start at. So if you can imagine, these guys are engaging them around 1:45 seconds. If you took away 1:45 seconds, this run would actually be a top 5 run according to Warcraft logs in the world. So it's just a difference in rules. That's something that we're open to talking about. If you guys want to join our Discord and check us out, we're always open to community feedback on our rules and restrictions and things like that. So at the same time, the Stealth Crew opting to go to the right here. I think this is sort of the more conventional pathing for groups that are running heroic slave pins and skipping a lot of trash. They're now coming up here to the Coilfang Defenders themselves and starting to engage them. The non-stealth group, Madspeed, though, they're already over using that aspect of the pack, using that invis skip. They're pulling the first boss right now, engaging it on the ramp here, hopefully being able to avoid the trash. I think there's actually LOS there at the top of the ramp, so there shouldn't be any extra trash pulled into this fight. The Stealth Crew, unfortunately not able to kill trash as fast as the other group, hoping that their ability to stealth past it gives them an edge whenever they can. They're moving through here now on their way to the first boss. By the time they get there, though, Madspeed is going to have already killed that first boss and will be heading up to the sort of like top of the dungeon, you could say, and I believe attempting the bridge skip. So this is you'll see here in a second, Madspeed, as they're running up here. They do have another trash pack that's going to be in their way here. I believe they are going to be able to just sort of run right by it, though. You'll see the Stealth Crew engaging that first boss. Meanwhile, Madspeed, yeah, they're, I think, have the priest pop an AoE fear here, and they're able to jump down on the bridge. So if you are unfamiliar with skips and slave pins, this is sort of the major one here. If you jump down onto this bridge and then heal up a little bit, you can make one more jump and actually skip all the way to the second boss in the dungeon, the lobster boss. But be warned, when you make this jump that they're making right now, this wall has a curvature on it near the top, and if you jump incorrectly, you'll actually hit it and you'll fall into the water, and it will send you all the way back around the dungeon. So luckily, all 5 members of the team make that jump successfully, and they're able to go here and engage that second boss super quick here. The stealth crew, meanwhile, is just now moving up the ramp after killing the first boss, so the non-stealth crew has quite an advantage at this point. If they're able to keep up this momentum, they should be able to push on through to the end. There are lots of ways to be able to skip the rest of the trash in this dungeon, so we will be able to see what they're able to pull out. The stealth crew also able to skip these 2 mobs on the ramp here. They opt to use stealth and saps, but then they're stopped dead in their tracks. 2 mobs that can see through stealth. So this is sort of the bane of all stealth runs' existence. Lucky for them, these mobs don't exist in very many of the Coilfang dungeons. So you'll see this is sort of like the only counter to the stealth runs are these mobs that can see through stealth. But they're able to just sort of sit around and wait for that patrol to walk away, and then they perform their own bridge skip jumps. So if we hop back over to Madspeed, you can see right now they've killed the first boss, and they are now doing this crevasse jump skip. So this is something that kind of came up. It popped up on Reddit. I think a lot of people saw it. A lot of people were interested in maybe seeing it in action like we saw here in the cup. We have our hunter and our warlock were both able to successfully do the crevasse skip. Meanwhile, the rest of their team, it looks like, are either still trying the skip. You can see the star jumping up and down over there. So they are still trying the skip. At the same time, the stealth crew, Stealth Fillet, have engaged the lobster boss. So they are still a little ways behind. Still pumping though, still moving forward. No major issues for them. Everyone was able to make the bridge jumps with no problems whatsoever. Madspeed, though, running into some issues here. And what you can't see, and what we sort of learned after the fact while in the competition, was that what happened here was when they did the initial bridge jump, they aggroed those mobs at the top, the ones that they feared to get out of the way. They aggroed them, and they never fully dropped combat. So those mobs actually came down running at them, and their strategy to deal with that in their practice runs was to have everyone pop a flask of petrification to drop combat. And what happened here was the druid was unable to do that. So the druid actually ends up dying to these mobs, and I think the priest and the mage are both in flasks of petrifications at this time. And if you don't know the way that flasks of petries work in TBC, you are stuck in them for the full duration. So you're unable to click them off. So their whole team is having to wait right now for this priest and mage to drop their flask of petri so that the priest can res the druid, which he's doing now. While all this has happened, though, the stealth team, Stealth Fillet, has killed the lobster boss, and they have actually taken a lead here. So using Distract to get through the large pack right there, they are just pushing forward, continuing on their already very solid pace, and snagging the lead here from Madspeed. Madspeed now finally able to get that druid back up. They've got summons already started. The druid, I believe, is stealthing around the corner, taking a little page out of the Stealth Fillet book to get a second clicker over here, so they're going to be able to summon the rest of their squad. Now, Stealth Fillet able to maintain this pace, not having any issues whatsoever, using distracts, using saps, skipping all of this trash. They haven't had to kill anything since that second boss, and they are just moving through at a stealth druid's pace to this final boss. Madspeed just now finishing up their summons. They're able to pop aspect of the pack. Obviously, they're going to move a lot faster than the Stealth Fillet crew, so we'll be able to see, is that enough for them to actually catch up? Do they have skips lined up for the rest of this trash that's going to give them, a chance of catching up? The stealth crew, they've pulled the final boss, but it's a 2 druid, 3 rogue team. Their DPS is not going to be all that great. Madspeed's going to have to pull something out. Oh, but unfortunately, while I believe the priest was throwing out mind soothes, one of them gets resisted, and that's just another trash pack that they're going to have to kill here. So, having to fight a trash pack while Stealth Fillet gets to fight the final boss, that is not a great feeling. They did not know these runs did not actually happen simultaneously at the time. But for, it sucks because it's just extra things that they're having to pull and kill. It's just adding on to their time. It's adding on to, all of the mistakes that have happened up until this point. But they're still on a very good pace. They're still 9 minutes and 25 seconds in. Stealth Fillet at the same time at 9 minutes and 28 seconds. I've killed the final boss and the Quag's Eye drops. Oh my goodness. So lucky for the triple rogue double druid squad, they get the Quag's Eye. Maybe one of the druids will take it and use it for a boomy spec or something. Or maybe, just maybe, they'll give it to a rogue to wear around Shatreth. Just to piss off any casters that are hanging around. At the same time, though, we see the Madspeed crew have made it to the final boss. They are engaging it. They do have classes that are actually good damage pumpers here, so their boss kill time on this final boss, while faster than the stealth crew, was not enough to make up for the large difference from their, I guess, debacle with the extra trash from the bridge top, and then also having to pull and kill that pack where the mind suit resisted. So it was a very good attempt by both teams here, by Madspeed in particular. I kind of want to go back though and talk about, like I said earlier on, both of these teams, had their timers started where most of the Warcraft log slave pins runs start, they would have had much different placings in the world. So if they had both started with those 2 Coilfang defenders, then they would have actually ended up with, Madspeed would have ended up with the 4th fastest time in the world, and Stealth Fillet would have ended up with the 2nd fastest time in the world. So just a difference in rules between us and what Warcraft Logs does. We want to include as much of the dungeon as possible. So in the future, that might mean some more trash requirements than what we already have. If that's something that you have an opinion on, consider coming and joining our Discord and voicing that opinion. We want to hear what the community wants to do, what they see is the best way to do heroic dungeon speedruns, and to have leaderboards and rules and restrictions surrounding that. So come and join us. Let us know what you think. Maybe you don't want any stealth runs in the future. If that's the case, come and let us know. I think I said Stealth Fillet would have had the 2nd fastest run in the world, and Madspeed actually would have had the 4th fastest run. So even though they had their hiccups, they had roughly the 4th fastest run in the world. Still very impressive by both of these teams. So it's a blast to watch these. This cup was a ton of fun. We plan on doing more of these in the future. So if you're interested, check out our website, look for more announcements. We post them all over the place whenever we have future cups coming up. There should be one announced here very soon, depending on when this video comes out. So check it out. Consider coming and playing. It's a good time to run dungeons. You don't necessarily need to be a world record dungeon squad. You can just come and run them for fun, and maybe you'll surprise everybody. Maybe you'll win some money, but I guarantee you'll have a good time. So check that out. Be sure, if you liked this, to go and check the Steam Vaults and the Underbog runs. Both of those are also on my channel. And if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe and the like button. So thank you guys for watching again. I can't shill anything else, so I'll just say have a good rest of your day and happy hunting.